Come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening, City Council. Mayor Burcroft, Attorney Hitchcock, Treasurer Stacy Page, Deputy Clerk and audience. This is the City of Romulus City Council regular meeting, and today's date is Monday, March 25th, 2019. Mr. Chair, council roll call was taken during our special meeting, and we have a quorum for this evening.
Thank you.
We are submitting an amended agenda. We've added agenda item 6A2. And at this time, I will state the amended agenda. Number 1, agenda. Number 2, minutes. Number 3, petitioner. 4, chairperson's report. 5, mayor's report. 6A, clerk's report. 6B, treasurer's report. 7, public comment. 8, unfinished business. 9, new business. 10, communication. 11 is warrant 19-06, and number 12 is adjournment. And a motion will be in order to accept the amended council agenda as presented.
So moved to accept the amended council agenda as presented. Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Abdo, for approval of the amended agenda as presented. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth? Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Agenda item 2 for approval. 2A for approval are the minutes from the regular council meeting held on March the 11th, 2019.
So moved for March 11th, 2019.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for approval of the minutes. This was from our regular council meeting, which was held Monday, March 11, 2019. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Agenda item 2B for approval are the minutes from the special meeting held on Monday, March 11, 2019 regarding the proposed zoning ordinance amendments.
So move for approval of the open session for proposed zoning ordinance.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Talley, for approval of our minutes from our special meeting. Zoning ordinance amendments. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
There are no petitioners on the agenda this evening. Number 4 is the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At 6 o'clock, we had a closed session with the attorney for attorney opinion. At 7 o'clock, or a little bit after, as you know, with the audience, we had our study session with our State of the Library address with our city librarian, Patty Brayton. At that time, that's going to conclude the chairperson's report.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to accept your report.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, to accept the chairperson's report. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved. Thank you.
Number 5 is the mayor's report. But Mr. Chair and Council, we have received several requests for comments from the audience this evening, that from those in the audience that would like to have remarks concerning items under the mayor's report. Those who have submitted cards, after the mayor and our attorney has made their opening remarks, you will be called in the order received. The cards that we have for your remarks, you will have 3 minutes for those remarks. We ask that you please approach the podium after your name has been called, and please speak directly into the microphone. And at this time, Mayor Burcroft.
Thank you. Good evening, City Council, Treasurer, Clerk, Deputy Clerk, and audience. Changing the format a little bit, so I'll go over a presentation. Those, as Alan said, that pertaining to this, we'll let you come up and give your comments. If there are any issues that Steve and I need to address, we'll do it after that, and then I'll get into my regular action items if that's okay. So thanks everybody for coming out. I know we've got a packed crowd, but it's important information that we're going through. So let's get into it. Negligence. So this is the definition. Core concept is people should exercise reasonable care in their actions by taking account of potential harm that may be foreseeable to cause to others. So I put that on there because action or inaction could impact others, and this is a big issue. So we're here tonight to talk about the topic that I call is, when I'm talking to other mayors and supervisors, the keeps me up at night topic. And so what I've inherited and you as city council have inherited, just like many other cities and townships all over the state, is there's a big issue with unfunded liabilities that are out there. This is the number currently for healthcare, so $57 million. And funding at a ratio of 7.1. Some of you may have heard Warren Evans' State of the County, and he talked about the goal of Wayne County was to be 80% funded. You can see we're very much unfunded. We'll talk about some things we've done, but that's an issue and it's a threat to all municipalities. What have we done? We're not sitting on our hands since this issue I inherited. We've been working hard to try to come up with some solutions as the residents expect. So one of the things that we're proud of and that we're able to work on with the help of the Teamsters, as they allowed us with their self-funded plan to put our non-union in the Teamster plan. So what that did is allowed us to bring the costs down and also stretch the costs out over a longer period of time. Many of you remember we were getting double-digit increases by the Blue Cross plan. By being in a self-funded plan, we were able to control our destiny. So that was a huge savings. On the unfunded health care, what we offered twice, if you recall, it started with firefighters and then we opened it up to Teamsters, and we were able to shave off $25 million of that unfunded liability since I've been in office. Now we did that. There's not a lot of other, I call low-hanging fruit or options to get another 25 million shaved off, but we've worked hard to try to go in the right direction and lessen that unfunded liability. We actually had 25 active employees that opted to take that waiver, and so basically it was in lieu of health care, we have a $74,000 annual commitment that gets people off of our plan, and they may have insurance coverage by a spouse or somebody else. So here we are, we're looking at, and we've talked, I know since I've been on my council days and when I first came in this office about having a long-term projection and forecast for the budget. And I think I saw Debbie Hoffman here in the front row. You remember talking about it. Have a 5-year plan, right? So City Council, you have that tonight. I gave you a 5-year plan, tried to make it a little bit bigger so the print you can see. But basically, it takes that plan out as you go over years, and it doesn't take you long to see that we have a problem. And that problem is that all the funding that comes through the city, through the general fund, this is a piece of it. So non-sustainable means this isn't going to go away. This problem, we can't do nothing. If we do nothing, what we're trying to do is make it sustainable so that we have a lot of people, good people, that worked hard, that worked a long time for the city to have these healthcare benefits. If we don't do anything, it's not going to be sustainable. It's not going to be there for their family and for their loved ones. So one of the things we have to keep in mind is that, I heard this from some calls and some emails and letters I've gotten about, we had a public safety millage, right? First time ever, it passed last fall, and I think that when I went out and talked, I know for a fact I did town halls, YouTube videos, were asked questions. We passed a millage that will raise about 2.8, 2.9, dedicated for public safety. I said it wasn't a solve-all, and it wasn't. Our budget, as you guys know, closer to 13 million for that area, but it would help. So we went out and got the support. I told people then, I told people last year, this one of the things that comes up later in the action item is Public Act 152. Comes up every year. I said last year what my intentions were. I met with unions, pre-millage, post-millage, told them what my intentions were. Here's the issue. I know we've got a lot of people in the room and a lot of good people here. We've got over 24,000 residents that are counting on us as elected officials, put us in this spot to make sure that we're getting the most out of their tax dollar and to make sure they're getting the value, that we're good to our word with contracts, that we're good to our word with the millage, and that we're providing the best possible service. And we need to not just kick the can down the road, we've got to address it. Here's some information on just active employees. Active employees hired since 2011 under some union contracts and all hired since I've been here in 2014 are not eligible for retiree health care. So we tried to address the issue. So moving forward, we have several, and you'll see later the percentage that we have a lot of people working here, good people working today, that are not going to qualify for any retiree health care. And we currently are paying 20% of their premiums now. Here's some more facts and data to consider. 164 active employees currently. 55 active employees are not eligible for the retiree health care and pay a percentage towards their health care premiums. There's a breakdown of what positions, no names, just where they come from. Again, that bullet point I said earlier, 25 active employees took the waiver or the buyout. Almost half, or 80 of all actives, will not receive retiree health care benefits. That's huge. And really what it is, that's kind of the new world we live in. It's not unique to Romulus. It's very consistent with a lot of communities that you'll hear and see are dealing with the same issues. So here's some active employee estimated costs for the City Blue Cross 2019 without an application of the hard cap, $1.6 million. Estimated costs for the Teamsters active, and again 2019 without an application of the hard cap, $1.5 million. The city pays 25 employees who took the waiver for health care a total of $74,000. Again, that means that they had another option for health care, a spouse, or some other way. And that's good. We don't want them to, we don't want to take that away because we don't want them to come back on our plan or we lose any savings of cost. So here, there's two things going on tonight. The first one let's talk about is what Public Act 152 is going to be, and that's on the agenda later under my report. So the savings number, the proposed active employee hard cap under the Act 152 would be an estimated of $436,000 in savings that we're currently paying in healthcare premiums annually for the city of Romulus. There's 69 pre-65 retirees. There are 24 pre-65 retirees, and this is astounding. I talked to some residents over the phone that heard of this issue going on, and there's 24 of them that the city is paying over $30,000 a year. $30,000 a year for awesome coverage for 24 people in this. When they hear that, and look at the bottom, I put just the starting salary for current Clerk 1 or DPW labor positions, their whole salary. And by the way, if they start recently, since I said earlier, they don't get any retiree health care. That's pretty astonishing. Two of those, we're paying over $50,000 for those policies a year. So just put that in context with what we're talking about tonight. I'm gonna have Steve cover a couple points and then he'll bring it back to me and I can click for it if you want.
Okay. What it indicates is that first we have a lot of pre-65 retirees that are a long ways from reaching age 65, all the way from 35 years would be the highest one down to 18 years on this list. So there's going to be quite a while that we're going to have to pay these high annual premium amounts before they're eligible for Medicare. And then also, it shows you some of the premiums that are being paid, as the mayor indicated, the top one there of over $50,000 a year, a lot of them in the 30,000s, and depending on whether they are single or whether they have family coverage, the premium can vary quite a bit, but they're all significant numbers. So this slide indicates with regards to the pre-65 retirees, if we were to apply the same parity with them as the active employees, meaning that the city would pay the hard cap amount of the premium, the city estimates it could save $669,000 in a year. So it's a significant amount of savings by doing that. And as I think everyone that received the letter indicated to them, we're also proposing that we make available a policy that's within the hard cap so that you don't have to have these premium numbers to have your current coverage. These represent under Act 152 what the hard cap amounts are for 2019 for single person, two person, and family coverage. These are the amounts the city would be paying for the premium cost of current coverage, and including that would be on the policy that's within the hard cap if an employee or retiree elected to have that policy. And you can see it also shows then what that amount would be per month for the individual families. This one gives you an example of the out-of-pocket cost for a Teamster employee who elected to maintain the current policy they have rather than the optional policy that's within the hard cap, how much they would have to pay per year and per month for that coverage, and also the monthly amounts of those. And as I indicated, the city also has a Blue Cross HSA PPO policy that's within the hard cap that does have higher deductibles and co-pays than the current coverage that the employees have, but it also has reasonable limitations on it. It has deductibles for a one person, $1,350, for family coverage of $2,700, and then the maximum out-of-pocket coverage under that policy is $2,250 for one person, $4,500 for a family. This slide shows the summary. Earlier slide you saw a breakdown of the Blue Cross coverage and the Teamsters coverage. This shows you that the city's total cost for health care for everyone, including all the actives in both policies and the retirees, with no changes for 2019 is going to be over $5 million a year. And then with the modifications approved, estimated that total cost would come down to about $4 million too. A number of other communities have previously dealt with this problem and have adopted the hard cap, and this is just an example of some of the both cities and I think there's some townships on there too that have adopted the hard cap in previous years and are ahead of where Romulus is at the moment.
Thank you, Steve. And that slide about the other communities, even, when you talk about we're all in this together, a lot of communities are in the same boat. When we've looked at this in years past, that number continues to grow. Majority of them have gone to hard cap. Here, I just tried to throw together just some facts that, it's an emotional issue when people hear about their loved ones and care and health care, and I know that City Council weighs heavy on you. I had an interview earlier before this with someone said that you're taking away health care benefits, and that's not what we're doing. We're not taking away any health care benefits. We're asking for help. We're asking for help to help sustain the program, and that's really what we're doing. We don't want to have these benefits at some point in time go away. This is not affecting the post-65. So again, everything we're talking about has been with active or pre-65. All current employees are going to take a pay cut under this 152 if the hard cap goes in. So that's electeds, that's non-union, that's union, irregardless of their contracts. So in the municipal government, a lot of us that are in it, we know there haven't really been any pay raises in years. So they're going to be taking a pay cut because of this. So some people will ask, why are you tying pre-65 with the same timing as the current employees that fall under the Public Act 152? And to me, it's a fairness issue. You have to, if we're going to address the issue, you saw the numbers earlier. The actives were 400,000 savings. The pre-65 was over 600,000. So it's a huge difference, and we can't do one without the other. The pre-65 does not fall under Public Act 152. I took a lot of phone calls on that, emails, but I want you to understand that's why I took the stance to bring both of those to you at the same time. And then the point here that, again, I get thrown a lot out in conversation is generally all the union contracts for pre-65 state that there'll be the same benefits as the current employees. One thing I'm very proud of, and anybody that, I see some union representatives here in the room, I always respect the contract. I've always stuck to the contract. So that's not what we're doing. We're not going against that in any way. I have always said, what does the contract say? And that's what we try to respect and represent with the employees of that bargaining unit. The proposing a hardship assistance fund, again, that was brought up because we may have somebody who is just in a very difficult situation. And so now they would be able to get some assistance from that. It's not huge help, but it's some assistance for that pre-65 group of retirees. So the bunch of agenda items tonight that we'll get into under the regular report, you can kind of see we broke them out by active or pre-65 or both, which ones they apply to. And so I guess, I started kind of with this term and my plea to City Council and to our residents and employees, we need your help. There are a lot of issues in the city that I can fix, that we can address, that we can come up with solutions. The way the law is written, in this one, it takes City Council action to do that. We've tried to give you information. I really do believe that by not acting, we know there's a problem. You have the 5-year spreadsheet. We know what the costs are. There's a problem. These are not sustainable programs. So if we don't act, we're negligent in our duties. And you look around the state, that happens. It happens in Flint. It happens in other areas where if you're not, foreseeing what's coming and you have data otherwise, that's a problem. So we all love this community. We care about the current active employees. We care and appreciate our retirees. It's no disrespect whatsoever. We need your help. I can't fix this by myself. City Council can't do it without all of us working together. So with that, what I'll do, Madam Clerk, is turn it over to you. I know we have some people that want to speak. I'll hear you out your 3 minutes, and if there's something after that Steve and I need to clarify, we will, and then I'll try to get into my report as soon as we can. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. As the clerk call you up, she's gonna mention you have 10 minutes.
Wait,
3 minutes. I usually give 10, but tonight we're gonna give 3. 3 tonight. We really appreciate, though, if you try to come. We got a lot of people that want to speak, so really appreciate if you keep it to 3 minutes. Thank you, Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And at this time, I'd like to call up Deborah Hoffman.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I apologize for the hoarse voice. Unfortunately, I came down with laryngitis, and so the night I really wanted to be heard, I can't be heard as well as I'd hoped. So I'm going to attempt to address, I've given everyone a copy of this. My name is Deborah Hoffman, and I reside at 30220 Pennsylvania Road in Romulus. I retired in 2014 with over 39 years of service, 18 years of which I was finance director. At that time, as acting human resources director, the city was unable to make substantive changes to retiree health care benefits that had been adopted through either collective bargaining agreements or the policy and procedures manual. This had been the practice since the first collective bargaining agreements were approved and the Policy and Procedures Manual was adopted in 1990. On March 16, 2019, I received a letter from Kevin Lowson, the city's Human Resources Director, that stated that the administration was recommending that the City Council discontinue opting out of Public Act 152 and follow the state hard cap methodology for health care and prescription coverage for all city employees beginning July 1st, 2019. In this letter, it also states that it has been recommended that the city treat its retirees the same as actives and also adopt the hard cap method to determine their benefits. Using this method, my premium share would increase from $120 a month to $899 a month. That is a 649% increase. I immediately called the HR department the following Monday morning and asked how my benefits could be so drastically altered, and was assured that this had been vetted by the city attorney and my benefits with city council approval could be substantially diminished. I immediately requested the case law, Michigan Supreme Court ruling, or whatever legislation that had taken place since my retirement so I could review it before appealing to you. As of this date, I have not received this information. I also filled out the required forms to come before you as a petitioner so that I could address you without the concern of a time limit. However, I received a letter stating that I was denied. I was told that this was a denial was a recommendation of the city attorney. It states in the letter that the city would provide multiple benefit options, but only after city council takes action would they meet with us to explain the options or address our questions. Now, tonight you did explain some of those options, and I appreciate that. It seems to me that before you would have city council take action, you would meet with your retirees to communicate with them how you could make such adverse changes to their benefits and what their alternatives were. I was lucky in that I could calculate what my increase would be and understood the financial impact of my changing benefits. Other retirees received the letter without having any idea how these changes would affect them. I did ask the HR director for a breakdown of the options the city was proposing and received one option by email. I believe the other retirees received this in the mail on Saturday. I have asked many questions about this new plan, most of which have been addressed by the HR director, but I am still awaiting information from the city's benefit consultants. I truthfully do not understand the rush. Why did we receive only a week's notice that this vote was going to take place? Why didn't the administration give the retirees a notice to prepare for the possible changes to retiree benefits like they did for the active employees with regard to Public Act 152? I believe you stated that you had mentioned it last year that this was going to happen, but to the active employees, but the retirees got 1 week. Upon reviewing the language that is presented to you for action, item number 5E of the mayor's report, I noticed that the language was not in the format of an amendment to an ordinance. As a non-union exempt employee, I received my benefits under the Policy and Procedures Manual. When I left the employ of the city, and the Policy and Procedures Manual was adopted as an ordinance. This confused me, so I went to the City of Romulus website and looked up the following from the City of Romulus Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Article 3, Division 1, Section 2-41. Personnel policies and procedures. The city may establish certain policies and procedures governing city employees, including but not limited to certain fringe benefits, provided that such policies neither violate federal, state, local statute, nor the terms of applicable collective bargaining agreement for those employees in a collective bargaining agreement unit with the city. To the extent of the adopted policies and procedures conflict with an applicable collective bargaining agreement, the terms of the agreement shall control as to the policies covered by the agreement. All such policies and procedures shall be approved by resolution prior to implementation. Such resolution shall require approval by a 2/3 vote of the council-elect. The council may by separate resolution establish a personnel policies and procedures committee appointed by the mayor, which shall periodically review the city's personnel policies and procedures and make recommendations to the administration and council. So do the changes to the policy and procedures manual require a 5-2 vote? Can someone confirm how changes are made to this document? Is there a valid case law that allows you to alter benefits? What determines the benefits the retirees are going to receive? Since the adoption of the very first policy and procedure manual, non-union retirees have received their retirement benefits under the policy and manual in place at the time of their retirement. At one time, 11 city retirees sued the city to maintain their benefits in McGuire versus the city of Romulus when the city rescinded these benefits. These employees prevailed and their benefits were reinstated. Under policy 18 of the policy procedures manual in place when I retired, it states that retirement employees hired prior to July 1st, 2008, employees hired prior with 20 years of accumulated service, the city will pay 100% of the premium for medical, dental, and life insurance benefits offered by the city to current employees. Benefits will begin when the employee retires or terminates unless the employee is terminated for stealing of funds or property, intoxication on the job due to alcohol or prescription drugs, in which case the benefits will not be paid. Under the healthcare section of policy 18, it clearly states the benefits that were offered, and this is the healthcare benefit that I received since I retired. Am I running out of time?
Yes. A little
I'm getting close.
bit. Okay. You're doing pretty good to be hoarse.
Thank you. I'm working at it. I contend that my benefits and premium share have stayed consistent with the benefits offered to the non-union employees at the time of my retirement, and unless there is clear and definitive case law that's stating that these benefits are no longer valid, these benefits cannot be changed. There have been many rumors that if language in the policy or contract that you retired under did not state lifetime benefits, that you were not guaranteed these benefits. I would ask the sitting city council members that were present when the language in both policy and manual and the collective bargaining agreements were adopted, when you approved these benefits, did you not intend for them to be lifetime benefits? Furthermore, I submit that the letter is misleading, if not slightly dishonest. The last paragraph states failure to act would result in unsustainable deficit spending. In the short term, neither retirees' insurance fund nor the general fund are in a position of deficit spending, nor are they projected to be in the fiscal year 18-19 budget. The retirees' insurance benefit fund actually increased by $269,000 in fiscal year 17-18, and the 18-19 budget projects another increase of $162,000 for a balance of $4,987,000. With the approval of the 4 mil tax increase last November, the city will receive an increase in gross tax revenue of $4.3 million this year. I am not saying that both of those funds are flush and that you should not have any concerns regarding retiree health care liabilities. What I am saying is that we do not have to rush. We have time to look at other alternatives. Let's look at voluntary changes in health care benefits by waiver as we have in the past. Let's try to solve the problem by not adversely affecting the retirees. When the city faced the last recession that began in 2009, we met with the union employees, the non-union employees, showed them the deficit projections, and negotiated 5% wage reductions and furlough days and a myriad of other cost-cutting options to keep the city out of deficit. We involved the employees in the process, and we had a much better success rate. After both of our millage requests were turned down, we were forced to make difficult decisions. We again have an opportunity to work together and find solutions. We have time. In closing, I ask you to vote no on 5E on the mayor's report. Do not act hastily. In the spirit of being open, honest, and transparent, give us the answers to the questions that have been asked and the documents that have been requested. By changing pre-65's benefits, you set a very dangerous precedent that could affect all active and retired employees pre- and post-65. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As you know, it went a little bit more than 3 minutes, but so please keep that in consideration. If you need more time, just let me know. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, our next request is coming from Judge Tina Green.
Evening.
Good evening.
I'm here in support of the active and the retirees, but I'm going to let them speak for themselves because I'm actually going to take my 3 minutes to talk about that. My understanding is that there's been some conversation on the street that the reason that you're in this financial problem is because of that building that we're building out front. And I'm here to make sure that the record is crystal clear and that everyone understands that in 2013, we doubled fees for bench warrants, late fees, and show cause fees that are covering that building. And then in 2014, we added the FUF fee, which covers all of the bonds. Your financial problem is not a result of the court. We sustain our own. We pay the health care for all of our employees. We do all of that. We pay all of our own bills. And so there isn't anything that's happening in the financial city. The finances of the city is that is laid at the court's feet. And so I just want to make sure that that's crystal clear with everybody, because it's my understanding that there's some conversations going on that are indicating that you're in this situation because of the fact that you passed the $17 million bond. And that's just blatantly not true. That's all I've got to say, and I am here to support the retirees and the actives.
The next request, and I just hope I do not massacre your name, it's D. Yuan Hockenhull? Dijon, I am so sorry. Mr. Hockenhull, if you can come up, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dijon Hockenhall. I'm a full-time employee at the 34th District Court, and I request that this council forego any implementations of PA 152. I find it to be totally egregious to be standing before you tonight making a plea to forego implementation of PA 152. I've been working for the District Court for 12 years, and there has been an incessant perception that the court employees are overpaid for their work. Even though the city uses revenue generated by the court as their bottom line, even though if the court was to be relocated or removed to another venue, the city will possibly face active state receivership, even though that the city misused or possibly stole funds raised by the court to pay for the construction of the new building just to make their payroll. And to date, the city has not accepted responsibility on the matter. The city has not paid back the misused funds. The city has not identified the responsible individuals or parties.
Pardon me, you making accusations?
I'm making a statement.
We going with,
Let him finish, John.
So I will continue
I got you.
reclaiming
Go
my
ahead.
time. The court is rated, and the judges could probably confirm this, third or fourth busiest court in the state of Michigan. We as court employees have always maintained a level of excellence and feel we are being penalized for the city's fiscal irresponsibility. The court pays its bills. The court pays its portion of their health care costs. The court pays its contractual portion towards its employees' pension. The city's inability to pay its bills or meet its obligations is not a prerogative of the judicial branch, nor do we feel to be needlessly inconvenienced by a rancid display of desperation that will be shown by this body if any part of PA 152 is implemented. The real rhetorical question that this body should consider is how significant the city's efforts will be if the court, with all its full-time active employees, withdraw from the insurance group. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next request is coming from Cliff West.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the council for allowing me to address you on this matter that's before you. First of all, what you're being asked to consider, in my opinion, and probably everybody's opinion here, is wrong. It's wrong for the active employees. It's wrong for the retirees, most definitely. And in the long run, if you don't take action and allow this to happen, it's going to be wrong for the city. You're creating a revolving door that new employees will not want to stay here. They will come in, get the experience, and move on to somebody else that's going to pay them what they're worth. I see that all but one of the collective bargaining units is currently expired right now. And the one that's still in effect expires the day before this action or inaction on your part would take effect. That being that you're forcing this down the throats of the current employees by not actively bargaining in good faith. At this time, I'd ask that all the city employees or the retirees from the city stand and raise their hand and be recognized. Look into their faces. These are living, breathing people. These are not a name on a list called retirees. These are not a name on a list that's a legacy cost. We are the people that put in the time that was required from the city. We are the people that kept up our end of the deal. We're the people that are now on fixed incomes, many of us. We're the people that if you do this, you're forcing us to either accept a subpar healthcare system or pay out a lot of money out of our pockets to keep the same that we have. You're also forcing us to choose between paying healthcare premiums or paying our mortgage, or even our groceries and utilities. The contract I retired under in 2010 was very specific. It states, and I quote, "All members of the bargaining unit who take a retirement shall have full paid medical insurance benefits, including optical and dental, equal to the medical insurance the employee was receiving at the time of their retirement application. The medical insurance as provided by the city to a normal retiree shall be the employee, their dependents, and spouse." This is very specific. Nowhere in here does it say if or may. Nowhere in here does it say until the mayor or the city council decides otherwise. It's my understanding now that this has been in the works for over a year. Last year, legal counsel sent you a letter recommending that you adopt the waiver on Public Act 152 one last time because they felt it was going to negatively impact your millage proposal. At this time, in closing, I would just like to say that you improperly enforcing this on the retirees, as even your own counsel has pointed out to you, doesn't apply to the retirees. We did our time. We made our commitment in this contract. And every other contract that I've looked at says basically the same thing. I don't know what contract they're reading that says as if they were an active employee. Everyone I've seen said that they were receiving at the time they retired, and the only difference was provided if they were making premium payments already, that they continued to make those payments. I want you to know that by having everybody stand up, we're united here. We will fight this. And nobody's going to come out unscathed on this because the city's going to be paying attorney fees and we're going to be paying attorney fees. Those are the only ones that are going to make any money. Please do what is legally and morally right. I'm suggesting and asking you to leave our benefits intact and to vote against this proposal to adopt or to that falls under Public Act 152 and vote down including the retirees as well. Thank you.
The next written request is from Leanne West. You're good?
It was in case I went over on time.
Okay. All right. The next written request is from Cora, is it Semrai?
Yes, he got it all.
You got it all? Okay, all right. The next written request is coming from Sandra Kraut.
Sandra Kraut, 9640 Washington Street, Romulus. The city of Romulus has a GM plant, Amazon, Penske, hotels, restaurants, trucking firms, the business complex just south of here off Wayne Road, other businesses, and many residential subdivisions. The city can afford an athletic center. Providing good benefits to employees and retirees should be a priority. With health issues today, how can you talk about decreasing benefits? Employees, retirees should not have to decide between health care or food or medicine. Today, good health care benefits are a necessity. Council should be voting to support employees and retirees. If you are retired and have health benefits, then you know how precious they are. Or if you're employed and have benefits, then you know how important they are. Make cuts elsewhere, but support health benefits for employees and retirees. I did notice that on the hard cap list, not listed was Van Buren, Taylor. I wasn't sure about Huron. I didn't get a chance. It was on it? Well, Van Buren wasn't and Taylor wasn't. I was looking for our surrounding communities.
The next written request is coming from Kathy, is it Merkel? Merkel.
Good evening, Mayor. I am Kathy Mercure. I am Union President, 34th District Court. More importantly, I have been a part of the court family for almost 15 years, and that family includes current and retirees. I would like to address the agenda item of Public Act 152, in which the mayor is requesting no action of council be taken. By taking no action, the city would opt into Public Act 152, costing court employees and police officers with families $800 a month for health insurance. The court services 144 square miles, and 180,000 people walk into our court a year, while your city hall employees handle less than 5% of that number, and I'm probably being generous. In 2006, the city approved upwards of a 20% salary increase for some city hall employees, in which the current mayor, Councilman Barden, and Councilman Wadsworth voted in the affirmative. I will add former Councilman Harry Kraut, who is in attendance tonight, voted no. Meanwhile, the court has remained financially responsible. Historically, over the past 20 years, the court has given the city an average of $2.5 million a year. So my question is, why? After 7.5 years, are you considering opting into Public Act 152? The two organizations, the Police Department and the 34th District Court, who provide you the most revenue, will be hit the hardest. Ironically, the mayor and City Hall employees will not feel the effect as much of Public Act 152 because you all made sure to join with the Teamsters health insurance. So again, why now? Is it due to your lack of being financially responsible? On October 1st, 2013, the court increased fees on bench warrants, late fees, and show causes. Then in July 2014, a $20 fund fee was added to all cases. These increases were for the sole purpose of construction of a new courthouse. Between 2013 and 2017, these increases generated $3.4 million, which was given to the city to be placed in a separate account for the construction of the courthouse. However, this was never done. Instead, it was, over time, added to the city's general fund. Due to your recklessness, negligence, and overspending, you have gone to the extreme measures now by cutting health insurance benefits for our police officers, court employees, and retirees. Every council member took an oath to uphold their fiduciary duty, which is a legal obligation of one party to act in the best interest of another. You have failed at that. In addition, the $3.4 million did not go through the appropriate funding agreement, which is a 1/3, 2/3 split. Romulus took 100% of the $3.4 million, which is rightfully not all yours. I believe that a third-party audit of the city's finances is necessary to safeguard the city from future mishandling of funds. I encourage council to stand up for the employees and make a motion to opt out of 152. Thank you.
Our next written request is coming from Mindy, is it Suchi? Did I pronounce that correct? Suki, okay.
Hello, my name is Mindy Suki. I am also a 34th District Court. I have been there for 23 years. I'm the vice president of the union over there. So I feel a little late in coming into this because we weren't notified in December when there was a meeting. Wow, $800 a month, wow. That's what it's gonna cost me, almost $800 a month for my current health insurance to employ with my family. Let me break that down for you. It's $4.61 an hour, which means that I will be making 8 cents more an hour than I did in 2004. I will go back 15 years in wages. I would like each and every one of you to stop and think how difficult a deficit of $800 a month would affect your household budget. I am a single mother, and this would be detrimental to my family, as many other employees. In addition, this would have a tremendous negative morale effect on your employees, including your court and police officers. I understand that there is another option, Simply Blue Health Savings Account, which would force me to pay out of pocket nearly $5,000 before any coverage kicks in. This is a terrible option and would just be as detrimental to my family. I encourage the mayor and the council to search alternative measures to cut costs. I encourage the council to support the employees. Make a motion to opt out of Public Act 152, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
The last written request is from Mark Wilhide.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Boy, it's changing my whole, what I was going to say with everybody else talking, because they pretty much hit it. My name is Mark Wilhide. I'm a lifelong resident as of right this minute, and I currently am the Police, Fire, and Safety Commissioner Chairman. My problem with this is you have a lot of smart people in this room. And to me, this is, I heard the mayor saying that he likes to stick to the contract. And you have both the POAM and the IFF coming up for collective bargaining. And I think this is an issue that should be taken in collective bargaining. Could you put that negligent thing back up? Because I look at this negligent thing, and I think this right here describes this hard cap situation that we're in right now. We just went through, people asked us, oh, you know, you gotta work real hard for this millage, and we got the millage passed, and then the first thing that happens is they get smacked with $4,500 loss in wage for this hard cap. And I'm not getting into any raises that have happened in the last year or anything like that, but I'm just saying that a lot of people come to me and they ask me why we can't keep people here. Well, this is why. You know, they showed the slide with all the different communities that are up there that went to the hard cap. They all make 20 grand more a year than the employees here. And this hard cap is gonna hurt our middle-level employees, and it's gonna hurt them bad. And when people ask me, how can we keep people? Well, we have to treat our employees better. And with that, I understand that there's problems, and I understand that these problems have been coming along for years, and it's not your fault. But you wanted the job. We never said it was gonna be easy. And there are people in this room that would stand up and, the bargaining units, they would look at different things and they would help. But at this point, I think that it would be detrimental. The fire department is pushing for ALS. Do you actually think, with all the other fire departments around that are hiring, do you actually think that these guys in the middle of the seniority are gonna stay here when they can go somewhere else and make higher wages and get better health care? They're not gonna. And then we're gonna lose those guys, and then we won't have any medics, and we're gonna be starting over. This right here, this decision, and I'm hoping that you guys bring this to a vote and you vote this down, because this right here is gonna have an adverse effect on this city for years to come. Thank you.
What's the last written request?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, council and audience. I'm not going to respond to a lot. The one that I definitely will is some pretty wild accusations by the court, and very disheartening about missing money and third-party audits, which we have. So I'll investigate those and make sure there's no validity to those. But I don't know, maybe we should have them sworn and take the oath to say the truth and nothing but the truth here. But I tell you what, why don't we move on to our action items, and then we'll go from there.
No, I'm sorry, sirs. We have to move on now. I'm sorry.
It's only gonna take a minute. It's not concern everybody here. You set up your options about what's supposed to happen with retirees. You have it in paper to show, give us a new health care that, we don't know what it's about. I've got pre-existing conditions. 14 years, I've had 4 pacemaker defibrillators. Now, is that gonna be covered for pre-existing problems on this insurance? That's all I'm asking. And I don't think that's too much to know.
Okay, let's move on.
Emmett Barnes, by the way.
Okay, Mayor.
We do have some action items I need to cover tonight. First up is item A, shouldn't be a difficult one. That's the Senior Alliance request. This is a recommendation that came from Rose Sweden, Senior Service Director. It's a request to concur the administration authorize the annual payments to Senior Alliance until such a time the city no longer wishes to participate or the budgeted expenditure in the Senior Alliance account is gone, and you see the attached memo.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, for the Senior Alliance fiscal year of 2019 from account 101-752, 807-000.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Webb, for the Senior Alliance's fiscal year 2019 match. In discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next up is item B. And this is a request to concur with administration, approve the reappointments of Lucinda Roten, Mark Lukowitz, Gerald Wendland, Terry Bird, Virgil Varner, William Crane, and Sheldon Chandler. That's the Historical Commission, term to expire December 29th, 2019.
Through the chair, if I may.
Yes, Ms. Webb.
I'd like to make that motion to concur with the administration and approve the reappointments of the following appointees.
Support.
Second. Support. Support by Ms. Abdo. Motion by Ms. Webb, supported by Ms. Abdo, and this is for the reappointments of the Historical Commission. In discussion? No discussion. Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Ms. Talley.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next up is item C. That's the State Law Public Act 152, and you have the request that's before you, requesting no action of council.
Williams.
Yes, I would like to make a motion to deny the no action request on the State Law Public Act 152, but to allow council to take action on the State Law Public Act 152 and opt out.
Support.
Support.
A discussion.
Okay, it's been motioned by Ms. Williams, supported by Ms. Roscoe to deny the request for the action of 152. Discussion by Mr. Wadsworth.
Just a quick comment. You know, I've been here for 36 years, and when I first came, I would see these administrations that were here, and I was young, and nobody really paid too much attention to me. As they would bring in chiefs of police, department heads who came here with a retirement, came here with health care, came here with everything, and yet we allowed them to go into our own system, and this is what caused us to be here today. And I was against it then, and I'm against it now. As far as double dipping, I think it's the worst thing that can happen in government. And, you know, we have to fix this problem, but to put it on the back of the employees and the retirees, it's not going to be the answer, but the problem has to be fixed. Thank you.
And I would just like to say this, because regardless whether anyone was in the audience or not, the truth is the truth, heartfelt feelings is heartfelt feelings. To attempt to include the city retirees in the State Law Act PA 152 at this time is the type of emergency that does not surface and emerge overnight, especially with the type of administration that has the professional responsibilities, advice, plan, forecast, foresee, provide leadership, direction, of all of which I am sure was brought to us before now. Quite frankly, it appears to me steps of collaboration and planning wasn't done before it became an emergency. My definition of an emergency, it stems from the frame of how we are attempting to execute the making of these changes. The best of leaders recognize changes affects everyone from the bottom up and then the top down. Therefore, it does not appear that these are being addressed in the entire operation of the city, starting from the top. As a mayor of this city, you should be demonstrating the type of leadership that has great compassion for those that have retired from the city, that work for the city, and for those that live in the city around us. You speak of being transparent, yet this process has not been transparent, and as has caused a lack of trust across the board. Moving forward, I'm requesting that we approach this matter differently, where all parties involved come together for discussion and resolution. Current retirees should remain with the retired benefits that they retired on. Thank you.
Okay, no more comments, roll call vote. Ms. Webb, Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Ms. Webb,
Yes.
Ms. Abdo,
No.
Mr. Wadsworth,
Yes.
Ms. Talley.
No.
Chair votes no. Motion passed.
Fail. Fail.
I'm sorry, failed. I'm sorry, no.
Failed. It failed.
Motion failed, I'm sorry. Motion failed.
5, that's right.
Need 5.
It requires 5 votes to opt
5.
out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5 votes.
It's okay.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 votes. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Vote on something you only gave retirees a week to see on a piece of paper.
We haven't voted on the
It's not the
retirees
retirees
yet.
yet.
Wait a minute, this motion only applied to the active employees and whether Act 152 is going to go into play. There's a subsequent resolution dealing with the pre-65 retirees.
Okay. Okay.
So the next item, Mr. Chairman, is item D. This is a recommendation from Steve Hitchcock, Legal Counsel, and this is to concur with administration, adopt the attached resolutions to amend policy 17 and 18 that incorporate the hard cap language for active employees from State Law Public Act 152 by 50% payment for waiving coverage as presented effective July 1 of this year.
Any motions? No motions? No motions? No motion? Motion fails. Motion fails.
Okay. 5E is a next request. This is a recommendation, Steve Hitchcock, Legal Counsel, and to concur with administration, adopt the attached resolution to modify the pre-65 retiree health care and prescription drug coverage, so the city contribution to premium cost is equal but will not exceed the amount established for active employees by State of Michigan Public Act 152 hard cap for payments for those benefits effective July 1 of this year.
Through the chair, if I may,
Yes, Ms. Webb.
I'd like to make the motion not to adopt the resolution to modify the pre-65 retiree health care and prescription drug coverage with discussion.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Webb, supported by Mr. Wadsworth to adopt. Discussion, Ms. Webb?
Yes, I sat here in our meetings and I have to agree. As one of my colleagues stated, it doesn't matter if it's one person in the audience or 150 in the audience. I am going to vote for what is right and for what is fair. I don't fear people, but I do fear not doing the right thing because it's going to come back. And to clear the air, the city does not pay my health insurance. I'm retired, but the city does not pay it. Now, I can understand the situation financially speaking. Yes, it's hard, and it's going to be hard on all of us, and there must be some way that we can all come together because I'm paying mine, I'm retired, but then again, my heart goes out to the ones who have illnesses, and I'm grateful that I do not have at the present time, where your costs would really be devastating for you. But I'm not voting this way just because you're here. I would have voted this way if you had not been in the audience this evening. I just want to ask the question. Does that take 5 votes?
Yes.
Ms. Webb, would you consider pulling your motion back? Why?
Why?
It takes 5 votes.
No, if I understand your motion, it was a motion to not modify.
Right.
Not,
That would
Not to
only
adopt.
take 4 votes
Okay,
because
okay. It only
the
takes-
policy would not be being changed.
well, earlier you
Change
said
of the
5
policy.
votes. Well,
Yeah,
5
well-
was on your motion, 4 is on mine.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, run the vote.
Okay, any other discussion?
Run the vote. Yeah, we want,
It's been motioned by Ms. Webb, supported by Mr. Wadsworth. Now, Ms. Webb,
not to adopt, correct.
Mr. Wadsworth,
My vote would be yes, the same as yours.
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Williams,
Yes?
Ms. Talley,
Okay, make sure I'm clear what we're doing.
Ms. Williams, Ms. Webb made a motion to deny
Not to adopt the motion,
Right.
Yeah.
not to adopt the resolution.
For the,
Okay, maybe they should read this again through the chair. I'm sorry, I don't mean to
Okay, because
interrupt.
we're not doing what we have right here in front of us. We're doing
Okay.
something different.
Okay, we're not doing what you have in.
Right,
Well, we're
Right.
doing that, but I just did not say so that the city contribution to premium cost is equal to but will not exceed the amount established
Madam
for
Clerk,
active.
can I
I'm
just
not
get-
including
Yes.
that in my motion.
yeah.
The motion is on the floor not to adopt the resolution to modify the pre-65 retiree health care and prescription drug coverage.
And I support it.
And you supported it, thank you.
And we need 4 votes.
And we need 4 votes.
On the vote.
4 yes votes.
Okay, Ms. Talley,
No.
Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
chair votes no, motion passed.
You forgot me?
Oh, Ms. Williams,
Yes.
motion passed.
Excuse me, through the chair, your
Yeah.
vote?
I said no.
Oh, okay.
Motion passed.
So, Mr. Chairman, with that vote, actually F and G aren't necessary, so I'll withdraw those. That would conclude my report.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's go to next, all right, Madam Clerk. Clerk.
Okay, this is my show.
The employees lost out.
6A
Too bad.
report. Under 6A1, for second reading and final adoption, zoning ordinance to amend Article 6 Central Business District, Section 6.02, and Article 7 Business District, Section 7.02 was introduced.
Can we have quiet, please? We're still in section.
This amendment was introduced at the council meeting of March 11th, 2019.
Through the chair,
Chair,
if
I'll
I may.
make that motion for second reading, final adoption of zoning ordinance to amend Article 6, Central Business District, Section 6.02, and Article 7, Business District, Section 7.02.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Wadsworth. Second reading, final adoption of zoning ordinance to amend Article 6 Central Business District, Section 6.02, and Article 7 Business District, Section 7.02. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6A2, for introduction and first reading of zoning ordinance amendment TA-2018-001, Section 7.05, Binding Road, I guess it's Debris Overlay District. This was,
They just brought that.
recall, this was the agenda from the March 11th
They
meeting,
just brought that. We said no.
and it's been brought back to, for this
Okay.
council meeting for council.
We have a,
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion for introduction and first reading of zoning ordinance amendment TA-2018-001, Section 7.05, Binding Roads Area Overlay District.
It's the overlay.
get a second.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Abdo, for introduction, first reading of zoning ordinance amendment TA-2018-001, Section 7.05, Vining Road, Siberia Overlay Districts. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
No.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
with that being
passed, I would like to entertain a motion to cancel the study session we had set up
Okay.
for the Vining Road Overlay District.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Webb, to cancel the study session for the Vining Road on April the 1st, I think it was.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, that motion is approved.
Oh, God, I gotta read the warrants today.
That can conclude the action items under the clerk's report. For your information, we've provided some information regarding the household hazardous waste collection dates, which can be read under communication later on the agenda. With that, 6B is the treasurer's report.
Good evening, council, mayor, clerk, deputy clerk, and audience. It is a late night. I do not have anything to report tonight. Thank you.
Number 7 is public comment. This is the portion of the agenda for those of you that are in the audience. And if you would like to address city council, the rules to address city council can be found on the back of your meeting agenda. Again, if you would like to address city council, we ask that you please raise your hand, and after being acknowledged by the chairperson, approach the podium and state your name. Please note that you have 3 minutes to speak, and any additional time would be upon consent of the chairperson. Mr. Chair, we do have one written request under public comment, and this is Bonnie Gehring. Okay, Ms. Gehring, if you can come to the podium, please. And folks, please remember to speak directly into the microphone. Thank you.
When we had the mayor that went to different places concerning the police and the fire department, he had told us that the city has, and the government in Lansing has got over $12 million of our money. And the voting's got $46 million, and I called I stopped in Van Buren, or excuse me, in Huron Township, and I'm requesting that everybody tell everybody, and maybe go statewide, that they release some of this money to pay for our roads. They do not have to tax 45 cents a gallon. They've got all this money, what are they using it for? And I need to know, I would like to have that passed, where everybody, if you got any addresses in different towns, I will call them personally and tell them so maybe they can go above board and suggest to the new governor that they not tax our gas, because we can't afford it.
Can't afford it.
Any other comments from the audience? Mr. West? Mr. West?
Again, thank you. I just have a quick question. Is there anything at all preventing city council or the leaders of this community in reaching out to these other communities and partnering with them into a health insurance co-op to leverage your buying power and get cheaper rates? Somebody should make the first move. Doesn't necessarily mean giving up power, but it might increase your power of buying. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. West. Any other comments? Ms. Lemon?
Good evening. Jan Lemon, lifetime resident of Romulus. I can appreciate what these people are going through. For 7 years, I've been on my own. And in January, I got a letter from Blue Cross, and they raised my premium from $122 to $205. I listened to everything they said. I fully understand where they're coming from, but not one person stepped up here with a suggestion of how to solve the problem. The problem has got to be fixed, and there's got to be a way. It's up to council, mayor, attorney. We have to find a way. That's all I can say.
Thank you. Any other comments from the audience? Yes.
Thought that Keith Haynes, thought Miss Lemon's optimism was endearing. Has anybody ever been to a Costco before? Just a simple nod would do. Have you ever been to like a Walmart, something like that? I have serious concerns as a resident for my parents that I believe the city's full of professional people who do their jobs every single day, regardless of what the compensation is, and I think that it includes all of you as well. I'm not singling anybody out. It's an all-encompassing statement, as a matter of fact. But I do have some concerns that we're missing the human element of it. You know, that at the end of the day, that people, we are professionals, and you expect a professional service. You expect a professional service, I'm sorry, ma'am, from your employees. The reason I asked about Costco was, you know, I first noticed when I started going to Meijer's when they cut out the actual cashiers and then they started putting in machines. You started losing a human interaction. And I almost, as a rule, not always, but as a rule, try to avoid the machine at all costs because they have taken away the human, and I like to deal with a human face to face. So moving forward, and I wish I would have said this, not that I think it would have had any effect, and I would like to thank those that voted in favor of us tonight. But just to continue that moving forward as to what you're risking. I get that you do have a job to do, that you have to balance a budget, and you have a lot to keep in mind. But you also have to keep in mind the human element of it. And that professional or not, we are human beings at the end of the day. And I have to worry about for my mom and my dad and other people who live in the city as to whether or not, if and when, services will decline based on the choices that you are tasked with making every single day. When you were asked to enact the millage, we were told that it would maintain the same level of service. We were promised that as citizens. But when you continue to look people in the face and you cut them, I have to worry, are they going to be serviced in the same manner? Because when Meijer started cutting the people working at the checkouts, I'm not seeing that I was serviced any better when I go in there. When I go to Costco, though, those people are treated, it's a union company, and I'm not up here to pitch for Costco. Well, Kevin, I tell you, I love them. I am a big fan of it. My point is they're treated like people. You know, it's one thing to say in the 7 pillars of trust that if we treat people as human beings and that if we value them, they will stay here. That they will leave jobs where they make more money to stay at a company where they're valued. And the rubber has to meet the road at some point in time is when we look people in the face and we say, I value you. How's your family? How are you doing? I want to feel it next time somebody looks me in the face and says that to me. And I think that everybody else would too. I don't appreciate it when you just look me in the eye and say those things to me and you hope I shut my mouth as quickly as possible.
Thank you. Other comments from the audience? Yes, John.
John Theed, Romulus resident, 38944 Tower Drive, also the union president for the IFFF 4126. You know, I look at that sign, Home of Opportunity. Been with the city 31 years. Got a daughter, wears a brace 23 hours out of the day. Sucks. But I'm gonna tell you what, I do a lot of stuff for this city on my own time. Never again. I'm probably gonna try to leave this city now because you're hurting us. You slapped us in the face, some of you. You really did, it sucks. Gave my whole life to this town and so have the firefighters, DPW, and cops. And you know what? No offense to Jan Lemon, because the union emailed Kevin Lozen and said, can we sit down with Blue Cross and you? And we were denied. I had to file para request to get all the information, and that was sent to the city attorney or the labor attorney because they don't know what a para request is, and that'll be an unfair labor practice that we're gonna file until we get it. Because we wanted to help out too. It's not that we don't wanna pay, we just wanna have some say. We wanna have some of the benefits back in our insurance for, you know, some of our things that we do don't get cut from 24 to 12 visits for a kid. Some of our retirees, some of our active guys have this. But you know what? It's like, I don't even want to stay here anymore. It sucks. Thank you.
Thank you. Any, all comments? Yes.
Hi, thank you for allowing me to speak again. I guess I need to understand the voting process. Thank you. So to change a policy, it has to be 4 affirmatives, correct? Is that right?
The policy would require 5, excuse me, 5.
Okay. But to keep the policy the same only requires 4.
But you're not changing the policy.
Correct. Our current policy, or Romulus's current policy, is that we are currently opted out of 152. So we're not changing a policy. We're staying with the same policy we're on, and we had 4 votes. So I don't understand how that vote failed.
The current policy doesn't say anything about 152.
We have opted out for the past 7 years. That has been our policy. That has been the city's policy, is to opt out. So you're not changing a policy, you're continuing the same.
Any action under Act 152 is only good for 1 plan year, and you have to act again. So next year, regardless of what they did this year, there'll be in front of them another proposal as to whether or not they want to opt out, whether they want to let the hard cap continue, do 80-20. Every year they have to make that decision.
Well, I guess lucky for some of you, you're only gonna pay, what, $250 a month for your insurance? Where some of us will be paying $800. And all of you voted to not to opt out. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves, and I would love for you guys to wake up tomorrow morning, look at yourself in the mirror, and think how $800 a month would affect your personal budgets at home. Think about it. And to the ones that try and support the current employees, thank you.
Any other comments from the audience? Yes, all right.
Can't tell you how disappointed I am right now. I think this is the most disappointed I've been in this city in a long time. And for some of you, I want you to remember this when you come to these unions and you want their endorsement. Because this hurts. And you're not going to see it right now, but you're going to see it down the road. And I'm disappointed.
Any other comments from the audience? No more comments? Comments closed.
Number 8 is unfinished business. Number 9, new business.
Please.
Yes, through the chair, I would like the mayor to truly investigate the comments that was made pertaining to the court. Did Romulus withhold the court $3 million? And was the money spent on the new court project? So if you don't have the
Oh,
answer
we
tonight.
will, and we'll hear from our auditor.
Okay,
You won't just hear from me. Thank you.
thank you.
Is there any more new business?
What, she got one more?
And I would just like to clear this up because I asked a question and it was told to me that I can remember it was a $17 million bond pool for the 34th District Court. Was it 17 million or was it 18.7 million?
The cost to build the building is greater than 17 million, but it was only necessary to bond 17 million because, as the judge indicated, they'd been paying into that account previous to that, and that account had the excess money in it to pay the construction cost.
And the only reason I say that is because I remember the city pulled a bond for 17 million. Because it's a city building, if the court was gonna cost more, shouldn't it be some document on file here at the city saying that the total cost is gonna be 18.7 million?
I don't remember, it's 18 something, I don't remember whether it's 7 or not, but there are documents. That was been, it's been bid out, we know what the cost of it's gonna be.
Okay, so since it is, because I asked the question back in December and all I got back was that the court cost 18.7. So I would like that as soon as possible to document that show that the city was in agreement instead of spending the 17 million to go over the 18.7 million. Just so I can be clear. Appreciate it.
Is there any more new business? Number 10 is communication. Number 11 for approval is warrant 19-06.
I'd like to make the motion that we pay warrant 19-06 for the following amounts. General Fund, $120,152.71. Major Street Fund, $3,666.52. Local Street Fund, $6,463.90. Cable TV, $200.63. Merriman Road Special Assessment, $368.93. Oakwood SAD, $194.39. Garbage and Rubbish Collection Fund, $90,069.81. 9/11 Service Fund, $6,685. Law Enforcement, $2,851. NARC Forfeiture for the state, $636.01. Library Fund, $10,046.78. DDA, $468.03. Tifa District 2, $511. 2014 Capital Improvement Bonds, $174.60. Court Building Construction Fund, $817,618.88. Vining Road Construction, Vining Road Extension, E-Course Construction, $11,940.75. Water and Sewer Fund, $270,120.02. Motor Vehicle, $53,432.25. Technology Services, $25,169.70. Retiree Insurance Benefits, $215,742.46. Revolving Funds, $7,252.95. Current Tax, $2,927.99. Payroll Fund, $287,817.82, totaling all funds, $1,934,512.13.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Talley, to pay warrant number 19-06 for $1,934,512.13. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
No?
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Warrant number 19-06 will be paid.
Number 12 is adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe for adjournment. Mr. Wadsworth? Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams? Chair votes yes, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Jasmine Dancy. Our community events for the next week include tomorrow, March 26th, the Recreation Department is teaming up with the library, Crosswinds Marsh, and Starfish Family Services for books, bingo, and more for Reading Month. Come win free books and other games and prizes. The fun starts at 6 p.m. at the library. This Friday, March 29th, is the deadline to purchase a downtown military banner. Saturday, March 30th, the Alliance of Downriver Watersheds is holding training for volunteers to monitor the water quality of local rivers and streams. For more information, visit hrwc.org. Monday, April 1st, the Romulus Garden Club is hosting speaker Drew Lathan about creating native plant landscapes at the library at 6:30 p.m. Other events at the Romulus Public Library include Toddler Storytime on Wednesdays at 10:30 a.m. through March 27th. Now here's Tanya Cofield with our good news of the week.
In honor of Reading Month, we've had a great turnout of our local elected officials and community members reading to our students. Thank you for all of the guests, readers, for spending time with our youth and encouraging this important skill.
Thanks, Tanya. One last reminder, please be aware this Wednesday, March 27th, is the statewide tornado drill beginning at 1 p.m. Sirens around the city will sound, but this is only a drill. That's it for this week. Remember to like and share us on Facebook and YouTube or visit our website for more info. Have a great night, everybody.